Ask most Australians what they think about the price they pay to use natural gas in their homes.
I have found my gas prices has increased.
For cooking and heating water.
It is concerning.
And you'll find a common response, one that's shared by Anne Jurassic.
Terrible, yeah, it's just not right.
We're still seeing potentially 50% or more increase in gas bills.
Here's something else to consider. Despite Australia's reputation for being a relatively hot country, most of the population lives in more temperate climates, including here in Sydney, where during the winter over a several-month period, it gets cold enough where home heating becomes a necessity.
Well, every winter, because I'm always cold, so we do have the gas heating on, both gas heaters. We do have that on, and sometimes even the ducted going. However, we have to sacrifice something else, whether it's one dinner for the month or something, but we do have to sacrifice. Yeah, because because of the cost.
What makes that rising price even harder for many people to accept is just how much of the natural resource exists right under their feet.
We have got an abundance of natural gas. We're approaching something like 200 trillion cubic feet of natural gas in reserve, so that's a very big number.
About 5 years ago, producers turned their attention to the export market and began building multi-billion-dollar processing facilities to convert that gas into liquid natural gas, or LNG. By 2016, experts say more than 60% of Australia's LNG was exported overseas.
Because that natural gas is being channeled towards LNG exports rather than into the domestic market, they're finding that Australia's domestic market is falling somewhat short of gas supplies.
For large energy users, commercial energy users who are reliant on large volumes of wholesale gas, their gas prices have doubled or even tripled in recent years since the gas export market was opened up.
Craig Memory is the energy policy lead for the Public Interest Advocacy Centre. He says as the focus shifted to exports, no policy was put in place to ensure reserves were available for Australia's domestic market.
No government wants to really interfere dramatically with the market, although the Commonwealth Government has recently announced that they are quite prepared to put a bit of a safety net in there in the event that prices get too high.
The price of LNG has dropped recently because of a global oversupply.
There is now a little more of an incentive for producers of natural gas here in Australia to actually pipe gas to the East Coast. But having said that, that premium still exists, and it's still worthwhile to actually export gas in the form of LNG.
And analysts say some Australian states pay more for natural gas than people in Japan who receive exported LNG from Australia.
Well, that's a bit silly, isn't it? Why are we taking everything offshore?
Which helps to explain what many Australians think, including Anne Jurassic.
And everybody's making a buck out of it, and the consumer's missing out.
About the price they pay to use natural gas. Greg Navarro, CGTN, Sydney.